Welcome to Savitribai Phule Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, Renuka Junior College. Myself Utikar R.A. I am the staff of 12th standard subject biology. Today we are going to start the lecture number 6 about the reproduction. So let's get started. In this section we are going to take a look at abiotic agencies. As the name suggests, abiotic means non-living. So let's see abiotic agents. These are non-living agents which includes wind and water. So wind and water, these are the two abiotic agencies that we are going to study in this lecture. So the first point is pollination by wind. Pollination by wind is also said to be anemophily. So in MCQ they can be asked you about the scientific name, or they can ask you write the short note on anemophily for 2 marks. So let's see. Most of the important crop plants are wind pollinated. Crop plants means what? They are cash crop plants for business purpose or for farming purpose. Which crops we are growing, that are included in this anemophily. This includes wheat, rice, corn, rye, barley and oats. Palms are also wind pollinated. So pollination by winds are occurred in a cash crop plants. So let's see the adaptations of anemophilous flower. The flowers are small, inconspicuous, colorless, without nectar and fragrance, that is odor. So the flowers are very small. Inconspicuous means unattractive. They are not attractive, they are very small, they are colorless and without having any fragrance. So they are very simple flowers. The pollen grains are light in weight, dry and produced in a large number to increase chances of pollination considering wastage of pollen grains. Means what? The pollination is carried out by wind. Wind do not have a particular direction. So the pollen grains must be light in a weight so that they can migrate from one place to another place. They are dry and they are produced in a very large number, because wastage of our pollen grains are more related to anemophily. Stigma is feathery to trap the pollens carried by wind currents. आता wind currents means what? Flowing wind. That flowing wind contain our pollen grains. So our stigma must be feathery, means what? They are responsible for trapping that pollen grains from our wind, and therefore stigma is a feathery to trap the pollens carried by wind currents. Next point, pollination by water. Pollination by water is scientifically said to be hydrophily. Hydro means water. Found only in some 30 genera of aquatic monocots. For example, Vallisneria, Zostera, Ceratophyllum, etc. Now, we think that all the aquatic plants are included in hydrophily, but it is not like that. Only 30 genera from total aquatic plants doing the hydrophily. Okay, so let's see the adaptations. Flowers are small and inconspicuous. Inconspicuous means non-attractive. So they are very simple flowers. They are small and unattractive. Perianth and other floral parts are unwettable. Unwettable means they are very light in weight, as well as they are not going to be wet. मीन्स वॉट? पाण्यात राहून सुद्धा ते ओले होणार नाही आहेत. तुम्हाला लोटसचं एक्झाम्पल इथे लक्षात ठेवता येईल. लोटसचं जे फ्लॉवर आहे आणि त्याचे लीफ आहेत, लोटस म्हणजे कमळ, कमळाचं जे पान असतं आणि कमळाचं जे फूल असणार आहे, याच्यावर तुम्ही कितीही पाणी टाका, ते पाणी लगेचच निघून जातं, स्वाईप आउट होऊन जातं, कारण की त्याच्यावरती वॅक्सचं कोटिंग आहे. त्याचप्रमाणे हे जे फ्लॉवर्स असणार आहेत, ह्या फ्लॉवरचं वजनही खूप कमी आहे आणि ते पाण्यात राहूनसुद्धा वेट होणार नाही आहेत, म्हणजे ओले राहणार नाही आहेत. Next point, pollen grains are long and wettable due to presence of mucilage. Now what is mucilage? Mucilage is one type of protein which have a covering on our pollen grain. Okay, therefore they are you can say they have a particular stability for the pollination purpose. Nectar and fragrance are locking in flowers. Why? because these plants are already present inside our water. Inside our water there is no any chances of having smell. Therefore their nectar and fragrances are locked in case of hydrophilus flower. Next slide. Today we are going to start the first portion about this, that is epihydrophily. The pollen grains float on the water surface and reach the stigma of female flower. For example, Vallisneria is a submerged dioecious freshwater aquatic plant in which female flower reaches the water surface temporarily to ensure pollination, and male flowers float on the surface of water. Now, epi means what? On the surface. Epihydrophily means the hydrophily in which the pollen grains are came on the water level. पाण्याच्या वरती फ्लोट होणार आहेत आपले पोलन ग्रेन्स, आणि मेल आणि फिमेल फ्लॉवर्स हे सबमर्ज कंडिशन्समध्ये असणार आहेत. व्हॉट डू यू मीन बाय सबमर्ज कंडिशन? 50% portion is inside our water and 50% portion is outside our water. So they are very submerged condition, and in that submerged condition that pollen grains comes towards the surface of the water, and that female flower will come towards that and attract the pollen grain, and in that way the pollination process is going to be complete. Specific gravity of pollen grain is equal to that of water. That is why they float on the surface of water. Now, specific gravity of our pollen grain and specific gravity of our water is equal. Therefore, pollen grains are float on the water surface, and that pollen grain goes towards the female flower and pollination process is completed. Some aquatic plants are anemophilous. Anemophilous means pollination by wind. Some examples are there. Potamogenous and Halogeris examples. Some different names are there, but that you have to recollect. Some aquatic plants are entomophilous. For example, lotus, water hen and water lily. This is the example of male and female plant of Vallisneria where the epihydrophily is carried out. Let's see the plants. They are submerged conditions, means they are inside our water, but some portion of our plant is on the surface of water. See the water level, it is a female flower, and male flower will release the pollen grain. That pollen grain come towards the water level, and then pollination process is completed. Our next point is about the biotic agents. Biotic agents means the living agents which are required for the pollination purpose. So let's see. It includes living agents. About 80% of plants requires the help of other living, moving creatures such as insects, birds, bats, snails to transfer their pollens from one flower to another. Means what? All the birds, all the insects, bats and snails are helpful for the pollination purpose. Whenever they migrating from one flower to another flower, then the pollination process is completed. These also sustain our ecosystem to produce natural resources by helping plants to reproduce. Now they are also very good for maintaining our ecosystem. I can give you one example of this. Do you know about the nitrogen fixing bacteria? That is Rhizobium bacteria. That Rhizobium bacteria are present with the plants, and they are living together for both the benefits. So in this way, biotic agents are also get benefited, and pollination is also get carried out. Therefore, plants are also get benefited. So let's see the number 1, that is pollination by insects. Pollination of insects are scientifically said to be entomophily. It occurs in a rose, jasmine, cestrum, etc. Means what? This entomophily is occurred in all the flowering plants. See the adaptations. They are large, showy and often brightly colored. The flowers produce sweet odor, that is a smell, to have nectar glands. Now see, we have to, or that flower have to attract that entomophily, that is insect. So for the attraction purpose, these flowers are large, showy and brightly colored, and also they produce the sweet smell for the attraction of the insects. The stigma is rough due to presence of hair or is sticky due to mucilaginous secretion. Now that pollen grain is trapped on their legs, so the pollen grains have to get stick on the stigma. After that, pollination is going to be completed. Therefore, the stigma is rough and sticky due to having a tight position of our pollen grain. The pollen grains are spiny and surrounded by a yellow sticky substance called pollen kit. Now that pollen grains are also get protected naturally, so they are spiny and they are surrounded by yellow sticky substance called as a pollen kit. Some plants have a special adaptations for the insect visitors to help in cross pollination. For example, lever mechanism or a turnpike mechanism in salvia. So the next point is number 2, pollination by birds. It is said to be ornithophily. The pollination which is carried out by birds is said to be ornithophily. Let's see. Only a few type of birds are specialized for pollination. They usually have a small size and long beak. So this is the best feature of ornithophilous birds. Means what? All the birds are not going to be responsible for pollination purpose. Out of 100, only 20% birds are useful for the pollination purpose due to having small size and long beak. Examples are sunbirds and hummingbirds. Some ornithophilous plants are bombax, bottlebrush, butea, etc. So see the diagram of ornithophily. The bird size is small and its beak size is long. Therefore, the beak is totally entered in the flower. It will attract all the nectars and the pollination process is going to be completed. So let's see the adaptations in ornithophilous flower. Flowers are usually brightly colored, large and showy. They secrete profuse dilute nectar. Means what? Their smell is not strong. They are diluted one. Pollen grains are sticky and spiny. Flowers are generally without fragrance as birds have a poor sense of smell. Now ornithophily means they are including all the birds. Birds are not having particular sense of smell. Therefore they are secreting profuse or dilute nectar or without nectar. The third point is pollination by bats. Pollination by bats is scientifically said to be chiropterophily. Chiropterophily. Bats can transport pollens over a long distance, sometimes several kilometers. So this is the best feature about the bats. Adaptations of Chiropterus flowers. Flowers are dull colored with strong fragrance. Why? Because they have to attract the bats. And bats are generally present in the night. They are active at the night. So there is no necessity of particular color. There is a necessity of a strong smell only. Therefore, the flowers are dull colored with strong fragrance. They secrete abundant nectar. Means what? They are secreting a very strong smell for the attraction of bats. Flowers produce a large amount of edible pollen grains. For example, Anthocephalus, that is kadamba tree, Adanocenia, that is baobab tree, Kigelia, that is sausage tree. Some pollen grains may be eaten by that bats, therefore they create the edible pollen grains. Thank you. Our lecture number 7 will be about the outbreeding devices. Thank you so much.